Good morning, everyone. So happy that you're here with me this morning. So if you're joining me and this is a recording, please feel free to skip through the first minute or two where I'm just chit-chatting. I am waiting for some people to get on live here. But if you're joining me live this morning, hello. I'm so glad you're here. I have a great project for you today. But first of all, this weekend is Mother's Day weekend here in North America, and I wanted to wish Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there, and especially to my dear mom, Happy Mother's Day, and to my mother-in-law too. They are both great women, and they support me and my family, and I really appreciate that. So even if you're not a mother, often women, a lot of whom are on here today, do support a mothering role. So thank you to all of you out there too, who are in that position and that role. So today's project, I was working on it yesterday. I was like playing around as I always do. I come up with different things, and I came up with the cutest little thing. Look at this little adorable little thing. It is a pansy, and it is potted with a Ferrero Rocher. Isn't that adorable? So I just love this project, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It's not super hard either. We make the little pot. We make a little stem that the Ferrero Rocher loops into, and then you make your little topper. Now these pansies are just adorable. This is a new bundle that we have from Stampin' Up. It just became available this week. It's called the Pansy Patch Bundle, and it allows you to make pansies in whatever colors you want. Today I've kind of gotten creative. I'm not sure how many pansies look like this, but I'm using the new 2021-2023 in colors. And if you look at my supply list, if you click over to my blog, there's a link down below. And if you look at the supply list, I just put in the supply list the cardstock bundle for the 5 new ink colors we have. I didn't put out the individual color cardstock packs because this is very easy to make with just that cardstock bundle, and then you have to throw in Blackberry Bliss here for the center. Or if you wanted to just use the in colors, you could also use Evening Evergreen for the center. But I feel like a lot of pansies have a deep purple center, so I went with the purple just to make it kind of fun. So that's a little pot, and you can make them in a variety of different colors. And so I will show you how to make them today. Also, for those of you who are not familiar with me, for my Friday projects, I create a little project sheet that is only available to my email list subscribers. And so if you click down below, there is a link down there that will allow you to get on my email list. It's perfectly free. And then on Saturdays, I send out my project sheets. I send them out a day after my project because sometimes while I'm doing the video, I realize I didn't put something on there, or I changed something out. So I like to send them out a day later just to make sure that I have all the information correct on there for you. And and it's something to look forward to the very next day on the weekend. And then a lot of people, they either print them out and keep them handy if they need a project idea, or they save them to their computer for future use. So you can, work with them on an iPad. They're usually about 1 page long. Sometimes I have a second page where I show a diagram just to make it handy. But if you want, you can just print off that first page with the dimensions on it, and then you're good to go. And there's a link to the video on there as well. So if you need to refer back to something that I do, it's very easy to find everything. All right, good morning everyone, and I'm so glad that so many of you are on here with me. I'm going to switch over to my other camera so that I can get this tutorial started. Let's flip over here. Okay. I always love it when I come up with a cute little project that can be used in different ways. So here's the Pansy Patch Bundle. And for this, I actually didn't use the stamp set for this project, but you kind of want to get both of them together because when you get them both together, you can save 10%. And I made a card. This is a card that I made earlier this week, and it does have the happy birthday greeting from the Pansy Patch Bundle. They work very nicely together, and I'll of course be doing more projects with this, so I didn't want to leave out the stamp set. Even for this particular project, you don't necessarily need the stamp set, but you can also stamp the pansies and die cut them out. There's just a lot of different ways to do it, and you will want eventually to have the stamp set as well. So let me just pop that aside. Oops. And here are some other pansies that I made. Let me just turn them here so you can kind of see them in different colors. This one's in polished pink, pale papaya, and fresh freesia. And the green that we're using is the soft succulent. So those are the four of the new ink colors, and the only one that I'm not using on this project is Evening Evergreen. It's a beautiful deep green, which you could also substitute for the centers if you wanted to. All right, let's get started. And you're going to need your scoring board. We're going to start by making the little pot. And you're going to need a piece of this wonderful paper. So this is, let me get the correct name, the Pansy Petals Designer Paper. And this paper has pansies on it. Some of them, these leaves here can be die cut. And these ones can also be die cut out. So if you wanted to make this project by just die cutting out the pieces right out of the paper, you can. On the back side, we've got some different neutrals, and I'm going to make a pale papaya pansy today, but we've also got fresh freesia gingham and the soft succulent gingham. So these are the three gingham patterns. Oh, maybe I think there's one more. No, I'm lying. There's three gingham patterns, the papaya, freesia, and soft succulent. So that's the ones I made the pansies out of, but there's also some different patterns, neutral patterns as well, that you could sub out for the pots. I just wanted to kind of keep it as a nice little set. So I'm using that paper, and let me get my little piece that I've already cut. All right. Of course, it's down at the bottom. So this piece measures 5 inches by 2.5 inches. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put one of the short sides up at the top, and we're going to score at the 1 1/8 inch mark. Okay? And then we're going to turn the piece. So now this is going to be kind of split into two pieces. I don't know if you can... Maybe you can see here, there's one side that is shorter than the other side. So this length right here, segment is a little bit shorter than this one. So you want to turn it so that 1 1/8 inch segment is up at the top. Okay. And once that is up at the top, we are going to score, but we are only going to score to the score line. So approximately halfway. We're going to score at the 1 1/8 inch mark, the 2 1/4 inch mark, the 3 3/8 inch mark, and the 4 1/2 inch mark. And I just went right to the score line right here. Okay. So I'm going to bring this little piece out so you can see it a little bit. I'm going to orient it like this. You know what? I'll do it even better. This is the diagram I created for the project sheet, so you can kind of see what we're going to be doing. So orient your piece like up here in the diagram, and then take your scissors. We're going to cut away this corner tab. It's the smallest one of all of them. So we're going to cut just along the score lines. So we're going to create that. And then we're going to cut along each of these score lines right here. So if you have paper and you're having trouble seeing it, you might be able to see it better from the back side. Like I can see the score lines better on this side. So then go ahead and flip your paper over. If you're having trouble seeing them, also take them up to a window and angle them into the light, because eventually, depending on the angle, the light will catch on the little bump and you'll be able to see everything really well. So you'll be able to see all of these pieces that have been cut. So just match that up with your diagram and then you'll be golden. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bone folder, and this side right here doesn't have any score marks on it. So we're just gonna take our bone folder and we're gonna give it a little curl, okay? And then just as a starter, I'm gonna fold all of these pieces down and then back up just so we've got them going along the score lines, okay? So we've got a bit of a curl just on the one side, and this little piece over here will become our tab, our side tab. So I'm gonna put Tombow right along here. My Tombow, I did not cap last night. Okay, put Tombow on that little side tab, okay? And then you're just gonna bring this together, and since you've already, or I've already given a little curl, it should just very nicely kind of come together. The top of this is going to be round and the bottom is going to be a square. So just make sure you've got that tab. It lines up just like that. Then we're gonna take that first square and bend it down. I'm gonna add a little bit of Tombow, take the next square and bend it down on top. Each time you bend down a square, you're gonna add a little Tombow. Okay. And then finally, I'm just trying as I go along to line up the square and make sure the ends are pretty straight. And then just do the last one. And then just press down on the bottom with your fingers. And look at that. Isn't that cute? It's just the perfect little pot, round on the top and square on the bottom. So that's what's going to house our little Ferrero Rocher. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create a stem. Let me just show you right here. So here's one that I've done. So it's a loop. Okay, so for that stem, you're going to need a piece of soft succulent cardstock. This measures 7/8 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch. You're going to take your bone folder again, and I'm not going to curl the whole thing, but I'm going to curl the center. So I'm just going to kind of come in part way and just give it a little bit of a curl, because in this bottom of this U, that's where the Ferrero Rocher is going to sit. Okay. Then we're going to take Tombow right up at the top and just put a little bit of Tombow up there. I'd say that's about maybe 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, 3/4 of an inch. You just want these two to be able to connect up at the top. Anywhere from about 1/2 an inch to an inch will work. And you're just going to connect those two up at the top to create kind of a teardrop shape like that. And then you're going to take some soil. In this case, the Ferrero Rocher is our potting soil. And you're going to put the roots of your pansy, or the strip, the loop, and you're just going to put that right in there so it loops around like that. This is creating an anchor for your flower so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then you're going to take it and you're going to push it down right in to the pot. Isn't that cute? See, that is now your anchor, your potting soil, the Ferrero Rocher, and your stem, and everything is nice and anchored. The other wonderful thing about this is if I didn't have this stem in there, it would be harder to get that Ferrero Rocher out because it's got, you know, that brown paper wrapping, and would have been hard to get it out. But now if you pull on here, if you pull up, it's going to pull out the Ferrero Rocher. So the stem, the looping stem, actually does two things. It's a little thing, a pull-out device, and it's also going to keep your little flower from going anywhere. All right. Okay, so now we need to make our little pansy, and I'm going to show you how I die cut that. So we'll need our die cut machine. This is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm not going to show you me cranking. I'll crank it through, but this is the handle right here, and I'm going to be running this around, and that will be off camera, so I can be kind of closer to the camera if I do that. So you're going to have your base platform number 1, your die cut adapter piece number 2, your cutting plate number 3. We're going to cut some leaves, and I'm using soft succulent, and I'll grab these leaves. Look at how wonderful this is. These actually have veining etched into them. So it does embossing and die cutting at the same time. Okay, and then we're going to take a piece of the pale papaya, and we need to cut out 2 of these. So I'll put one on here. We're going to cut out 2 of these. So I'll do that one in that round. We need 1 of these. Okay. Trying to see what else I need, and then I'll grab this piece of white. We're going to need 1 of these in white, and we'll do our little centers on the next round because this is getting a little crowded. So let's go through and do this first die cut and get these pieces rolled through. All right. Okay, so my leaves, they already knocked out their little passengers here. So 2 leaves. We've got the background white flower. We've got these pieces here. This one. And then these 2, and we're going to actually have to run this piece through with 2 more of these pieces. Those are the back petals that I'm creating. So let's slide this back through. I like to work from left to right, and I'm going to put those back on there. We don't need any more leaf pieces if we're just doing 1 flower, and we need 1 of these pieces right here. This will be that little center piece. And I think then we've got all the pieces that we need. So let's just run that through. Oh, you know what? I'm going to cut 1 of these pieces right here as a backing piece. So I'll cut 1 of these. I cut 1 in white, and I'm going to cut 1 in pale papaya because it's just going to back up the piece, and it's going to make it look a little better from the back than it would if the white was showing. All right, so now we've got our little center piece that we need, and we've got our, and then this piece, come here, got these pieces that we're going to need to finish off the flower. All right. So let's grab all of these pieces here, and we're going to put them together. You want to assemble your flower flat first because it's easier to do it there. And then this is the backing, and these are the leaves, and this piece will come on here, and this piece will come on here. So this is kind of how I do it, and that one right there is a backing piece, and those are the leaves. So we'll start off with this piece, and I'm just going to take a little bit of Tombow and add it to this piece. And I created all of these pansies the same way so that they would look nice matching up in all those little pansy pots. The pansy pots are a little easier to make with designer paper than they are with cardstock, but you could also make them out of cardstock. I like the look of that light ginghamy paper. It looks so pretty. Okay, so there's the bottom of the flower. We can add this little Blackberry Bliss piece to the center. All right, and then we're going to take these pieces here, and this is just like a little edging piece. Someone reminded me on my last blog post that I should put these on, and they're not necessarily for all shapes of pansies, but they do add a nice little delicate touch or edge to the flowers. So you're just going to add them onto there, especially for these kind of slightly neutral ones. It really does look nice. All right. Okay. And then we're going to add these back petals to the pansy. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow right here. And I'm just going to kind of line this up about like that. Okay, so that's the first petal. If you Google images of pansies, it's really kind of fun to see all the different colors, and you can also see kind of like the anatomy of a pansy, like how they kind of come together. So this is just a bit of glue, so I can still kind of manipulate the back petals. But if you look at pansies, they've got those two kind of back petals that kind of like overlap like that. So that's kind of how it looks. And then see how that's kind of white on the back? It doesn't look quite right. So what I did this is not exactly symmetrical. So I'm going to put the glue on the embossed side, because then it will be glued on the correct side, because the embossing is facing forward. So I'm putting the glue on the embossed side rather than, so we won't be able to see the nice embossing, but it's going to cover up that back of the flower. And you just line it up with the white right there. And so it's going to kind of create like the finished look of the back of the flower there, like that. Okay. And then we're going to add some leaves. So I'll just put a little bit of Tombow right on the edge right there. And I'm putting the bigger of the two leaves a little lower, and then the smaller one is going to be kind of over here. And you know what, if you wanted to, you could also put the leaves lower on the stem too. You can play around with that. I just ended up putting them up higher. And then you're going to take your pansy pot and your little thing. I just put a little dab of glue there. And I'm going to kind of I'm just going to put this about halfway up the back. I'll show you just a second about where I glue this to. So I glue it to about there, right where that little dip is. That's where I glue it to. And then to finish it off, I'm going to take, all right, I've lost everything. I'm just going to have to pick this up. These are opal rounds. Usually I have my paper piercing tool right there, but I don't. I'm going to pick one of the larger opal rounds, and that just adds a little bling to the center. You could also, one of the die cuts is these 3 little dots right here. These make little cute little centers for the flowers as well. Or use a jewel of some sort for the center. It just adds a little bling to the center. If you wanted to, you could also add like a little message to the front of the pot. You know, you could make a little label for the front. You could do Happy Mother's Day. The Pansy Patch Bundle did not come out in time for us to really make this for Mother's Day unless you already have this particular bundle. But if you do, then you can whip these up quickly for Sunday. So these would make cute little Mother's Day favors, shower favors, happy birthday favors, a cute little thing that you can drop off at someone's doorstep just to say, hey, happy Mother's Day, or I love you. But it's just like a little happy little thing. So that's what it looks like. And then you make them, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to add the little bow on the front. Let's not forget that. That's a cute little thing you can add to the front too. So each of the new In Colors has some of this gorgeous ribbon, which ties really nicely. It's going to be such a good seller. I think we've already had some that are really close to being on complete back order. Okay, so we just tie a little knot into there, and I'll just make this just a wee bit shorter on this side, and then angle cut it on that side. And then we'll take a little glue dot. This just adds like a little something to the pot. Just add it with a little mini glue dot. And then just to the front of the pot, like that. Okay, so there, that looks better. Totally forgot. And so I kind of made them in the different colors. Aren't those cute, cute, cute? I can see like making a whole bunch of them and having them on display. It will look like a little potted pansy garden. What do you think? Do you think those are cute? Oh my gosh. Well, if you like them and you need the supplies to make them, if you want to order from my blog, I'll just put up my host code. There is my host code for the month of May. And if you order from me this month, you know what? Let me run to the other room. I'm going to show you what the prize is, or the bonus gift is. I just got it yesterday. Okay, I'm coming back. So the bonus gift, if you spend $50 with me in May, you will get the animal print embossing folder. This just arrived yesterday. I haven't even unpackaged it yet, but I really like this animal print, so I thought that would be a good little gift for anyone who orders $50 or more with me in the month of May. So that is that. And then also, if you order at least $15 with me, I have a bunch of free with purchase tutorials that you can choose from. So hopefully you'll get rewarded either way. All the supplies are over on my blog, and there's a link down below where you can click over for that. All right, I am going to read and see if there are any questions along the way. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ellie and Amy and Dee and Pat and Birgit, Kimberly. I have someone from Norway. Hi, Minnie. And good morning, Bev and Karen and Janine and Martha. Martha, you do need to work with this set. The Pansy Patch Bundle is so sweet and cute. I can't wait to play with it more. Pat said, this is the cutest you've ever made. Just adorable. Oh, thank you. I thought so too. I really thought that this was just like a really cute design with, and not super hard, right? You saw how fast I put that together. But just really cute, potted with a Ferrero Rocher, you know. So, Dee says they're so cute. They will really perk up someone's day. I think they will. Can you get the chocolate out without damaging anything? Yeah, I mean, oh, you mean like, yeah, like, I mean, you just pull it out, right? And, you know, then if you put the flour back, it's not going to have the same anchoring power. It will kind of go like that. But I think, you know, yeah, you're not going to damage anything when you eat the chocolate. It's just you're going to not have the potted soil of the Ferrero Rocher there to hold it in place. But, you know, it's meant to be a favor. It's meant to be consumed and enjoyed. And just remember, you know, these are paper crafting projects. They are not meant to stand the test of time. They're supposed to be a fun, happy. So don't ever be sad if someone, you know, eats the candy and then throws away the wrapping. Just remember they probably did enjoy the wrapping at the time. And remember, we also get joy out of making these things for people. So just be happy. And if someone enjoys it and throws away the wrapping, it's still made for a pretty display, right? Not everyone keeps everything all the time. Pat says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It helps my channel. Thank you, Pat. I always forget to do things like that. But yeah, thank you. If you give me a thumbs up, or if you like my channel, want to see more of it, please subscribe. There's a little bell that allows you to choose how the notifications come through too. So if you want to do that, that would really be great. D says the bows look like cute little smile on a happy face. Yeah, I love this ribbon. It's very, very nice to work with. D says, would it work to put that second yellow backing on after the leaves and attaching to the stem? Just a thought. Yes, you could. Like, theoretically, if you wanted to hide some of the back work, you could attach the flower and then attach the backing so the stem kind of came up in between there. So one of them, so this one you can see, I was experimenting with different ones. So this one actually has the stem in between, and I thought it would look great backing it with white, but it looks better if you back it with the same color as the outline on the front. But there's one where you can see I hid the stem, and you could do the same thing and hide the leaves in between that back piece too. If you wanted a more finished look, you could absolutely do that. Just play around with it, but I think that little backing piece does really finish off the back a little bit. So, good question. I love all those questions. Ellie says, what if you glue the brown wrapper to the bottom? Yes, you could theoretically glue the brown wrapper to the bottom. But then the problem would be is that to lift off the thing or to get this out, then this stem would anchor down in there. So I don't know how well that would work, but that's a good thought. But you do kind of want this to be able to pull this out, right? So it's kind of a twofold. It's like it anchors the flower, and then it also pulls out your little Ferrero Rocher. So I'm kind of happy with the design, but you know what? The good thing is, you know, you see something and you can tweak it to make it your own. And please feel free to do that. If you want to change something around, absolutely go for it. This is just my starting point design, and then you can take it and make it even better. I often see people send me photos of things that they have done, I'm like, wow, why didn't I think of that extra little step? And that just looks gorgeous. So I love it when I see people take my designs to the next level. And if you want to send me a photo, I'm always happy to see them. It makes me smile that you've made my designs. All right, I think I've covered everything. Just like, yeah, Ellie, I'm looking at your question. Put the holder under the gold only, then the flower can go back. It will still, the stem will still be then loose. Like, so if you pull this out, then the brown wrapper will stay at the bottom, but your stem will still come out. So, you know, afterwards, theoretically, if someone wanted to keep it, they could take this and then they could glue this to the bottom afterwards if they wanted to. You could, if you wanted to, you could put a piece of tear and tape down here at the bottom that doesn't have the adhesive removed. And then if someone wanted to afterwards peel off that adhesive and then stick it down in the bottom of the pot so they could keep it, you could do that. Just have a piece of tear and tape that you leave the backing on until they've consumed the truffle, and then they need to remove that, and then they can stick it down in there, and then it will actually, oops, it will be like this somehow, like this, and then it would be in the pot there, and it would actually stay in the pot because that loop would loop right around the bottom. So you could do something like that. I think that would work, but it would require an action from them. I don't see that there's a good way to have it pull out and stay in there, but you can play around and hopefully you can find a way to make it work. But I think it's going to be a cute project for everyone. Next week, I'm going to be going live on Tuesdays and Thursday. I'm going to be going one day earlier next week. For my Friday project will be on Thursday, and my Tuesday, Casing Tuesday will be on Tuesday on Facebook, just so you know. I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy your Mother's Day out there. And I see another message. How about making a wad of foil afterwards? Yeah, you could use the foil and maybe, but the foil will come down quite a bit because foil kind of comes down. So, I mean, people can play with it afterwards. I don't really worry about what people do with my designs after they consume the chocolate. Some people save them and some people don't. And I think it's just kind of fun to have the little design, and I think people will get a kick out of it. I think they will think it's kind of cute. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day, and I will see you back here next week. Take care. Bye-bye.